Welcome to the Slade Ham experiment. Hi. It's two ways you could be seeing me right now. We're reading from Until All the Dragons Are Dead, my book. If you haven't caught the first two chapters yet, they're available right here on my YouTube. May I encourage you to like or subscribe. Have I said all the important stuff? Dates at the end of this episode. But for now, let's go right into it, shall we? This is chapter 3. Leave no trace. We pile into 2 vehicles, loaded down with supplies and towing a trailer full of canoes. 6 of us are heading across the state of Texas to spend a week paddling through Boquillas Canyon, hopping across rocks, and sleeping under the stars. It's an eclectic group. I'm traveling with 2 former Boy Scouts, a pothead, his girlfriend, and a hippie type named Allison. Allison is a friend of a friend. Formerly a waitress, she has just recently returned from a 3-month stint living in a forest. Oh, cool, I say. You stayed with a friend who has a house in the woods? No, actually, I lived in a forest, she replies. Like a squirrel? No, like a person, just without a house. So, like a squirrel. I'm confused. I'm now given the canned anarchist speech about the shackles of societal life and the evils of government in general. I start to comment, but I'm met with the glazed over eyes of someone that clearly has no interest in a real conversation. All I know is that I don't want to work anymore, she says. I just want to go back and live in Florida with the rest of the Rainbow family. To be more specific, she means the Rainbow family of Living Light. It's basically a large group of homeless gypsies. Think Burning Man without the Burning Man. In their own egalitarian way, they've removed any sense of lower, upper, and middle class, and instead all just choose to live in poverty. They built tent cities in the middle of our national forest, filled them with beggars and runaways, and amazingly enough, families with children. Children? I ask. Yes, she says. Some of the children were so bad, it was unbelievable. One time, a 6-year-old called me a fucking idiot. At 6. Well, he was dragged into the woods to live with crazy people. I can see how he might have seen you that way. You're a grown woman who lives in a forest. After 10 hours on the road and a few hours of uncomfortable napping, we finally pushed the canoes into the current of the Rio Grande. Emery is the trip's leader. Emery was a Boy Scout for as long as they'll let you be a Boy Scout, and he's brought another formerly dedicated Scout friend with him. In Scouts, they teach you a few core ideals. In addition to things like doing your best and always being prepared and making up mottos, Scouts are taught to leave no trace when exploring our nation's wilderness. This tradition was briefly mentioned to me before we left, and I agreed to it casually. It's a leave no trace trip, Emery said to me over drinks a few days earlier. You cool with that? Sure, I told him at the time, and I took another shot of Jameson. No trace sounds simple enough to me. We won't leave any trash. Yay, look, no trace. What I have failed to grasp is they intend to leave nothing whatsoever. Trash cannot be burned. It has to be packed out. If you have to pee, you have to walk 200 feet away from the river and find a spot devoid of plant life. Fires have to be contained and the ashes brought with us when we leave. I can't imagine being in possession of a sack of ashes. What's in the bag, someone might ask. A phoenix, I will reply. There can't be any leftover food either. If it's prepared, it must be eaten. I'm already having difficulty on the first night. I'm not eating your stupid fucking pudding, Emery. You have to. We all have to do our part. Those are the rules. Those are your rules. I'm going to dump it in the river, Emery. I am. Watch me. Dude, that's not cool. No, what's not cool is making 10 cups of vanilla pudding for 6 people who don't like fucking pudding. This is dumb. Give it to me then, Allison chimes in. I'll eat some of it. Of course you will, I fire back. You've been homeless for the last 3 months. We're not off to a good start. There are still 4 days ahead of us. Boquillas Canyon cuts its way through Big Bend National Park, winding some 20 miles as it separates Texas from Mexico. As you approach the canyon, its walls tower ahead of you. The rocky ledges are home to mules and semi-wild horses, as well as what the guidebook refers to as both friendly and not so friendly Mexicans. That is a direct quote. The friendly Mexicans make our trip amazing. As our canoes drift across the lazy river current, all sorts of characters appear on the craggy cliff ledges. It's a very convincing recreation of Disney World's Pirates of the Caribbean ride, but with fewer drinking pirates and more drunk Mexicans. Instead of yo-ho-ho, a man wrapped in a poncho sings ay, 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 and then peels off the next few verses of Siete Lindo. The sun hovers unthreateningly in a brilliant blue sky, and for a moment I forget that I want to drown the hippie girl. The most wonderful part about camping for me has always been the sky at night. My fascination with the massive expanse of outer space is always amplified when I'm removed from the constant glow of city lights. Here, in the backcountry, the sky is just a high ceiling. I don't feel like I'm outside at all, but instead lying underneath some richly gilded canopy. The longer I stare at the sky, the more stars appear, and before long, I'm hypnotized. After eating an entire gallon of lasagna against my will, I pull my bag out of my tent and find a secluded spot away from everyone in which to gaze out into infinity. At dusk, the bats flit through the dimming sky, capturing the orange of the firelight on their wings and lighting up just briefly before fading away again. The water trickles and rushes off to one side of me and lulls me to sleep in the perfect night air. Each morning finds us breaking down our campsite and piling everything back into the canoes. I am sharing paddling duties on mine with the other former Boy Scout, Walt. Walt proves to be an exceptional canoe mate and will eventually be my co-pilot on our trip back home, but he also possesses a lot of completely useless knowledge. He creates crossword puzzles in his spare time and has thus come into contact with several thousand facts that he is more than happy to share with anyone who has ears. When Allison turns down seconds after our meal tonight, she says, "I'm not used to eating this much. I usually eat like a bird." Walt sees an opening. You know, technically a bird can eat more than half its body weight in a single day due to its high rate of metabolism and the amount of energy it takes to fly. It would be more accurate to say you ate the weight of a bird instead of like a bird. Some birds. Walt, I say. Yeah? Shut up, Walt. We carry on like this the entire week. Emery prepares insane portions of food for the six of us, then continues to dump it onto our plates until it's gone. The only thing I will commit to consuming all of is the coffee. Walt can explain the food's origins. Allison thinks it would be better if we grew it organically like they did in the forest. "Well, we grew the mushrooms in the pot," she says. "We would bag or dumpster dive for the rest." The other tag along on our journey is Vaughn. And Vaughn brought his girlfriend, Ashley. Vaughn has also brought, and this totally escapes my observation at the moment, a plastic container full of hash. His little full pipe and Tupperware box make their appearance around the fire every night, unnoticed by me because I'm too busy fighting with his girlfriend who has chosen to stand in solidarity with Allison in their hatred for all things civilized. "Stupid fuck drug laws," she says. "We live in a country that's set up to keep us down, man. Pot's not dangerous at all, but the government hasn't found a way to make any money off of it, so they just keep it illegal. It's all run by corporations, and I don't want to be part of it anymore. I'm not giving them shit for taxes anymore." Well, what about things like schools and roads? You drive, right? I ask. "Only because I have to. There should be no laws at all, but the government should only still have to take care of all of our basic needs," Ashley says. "Are you actually listening to your own words?" I say. "Whatever. I'd happily live in the forest with you, Allison," says Vaughn, sounding suspiciously like his girlfriend because I forgot that was his line. "You know there are trees right over there," I say, pointing a mile off into the distance. "You two could go practice." "You're such an asshole," Ashley says. "I know, but you're a communist." Their desire to take more than they give weaves its way into our daily regimen. They are both conveniently absent when it comes time to break down our camp in the morning or to set it up at night. On the river, they both sit in the front of their respective canoes and pretend to paddle, still somehow finding a way to point out that they think my canoe is lighter than theirs. "He's not working as hard as us," they yell across the water. "What? How can I work less than zero?" I yell back. "It's impossible. I can't negative paddle. Even though we're paddling backwards, I'd still be doing more work than you two." If Vaughn weren't consistently high, he might feel the need to defend her. But as it stands, I just fall into sync with Walt's paddling, and we drift out ahead away from them. Walt's voice appears behind me. You know, in the Bushi region of the Congo, women aren't even allowed to speak at all in public, and for that matter... Hey, Walt. Yeah? Shut up, Walt. Despite my career standing in front of massive groups of people, I am not a social creature. I prefer isolation and time alone. I happily contribute my share to any group effort, but all in all, I'm not a fan of communal living. I'm taking every chance I can to scramble off among the boulders and the cliffs along the way, losing myself in the sand and shadow along the river's edge. It is cathartic and freeing, regardless of the tension between the girls and me on this trip. Night after night, a glimmering strip of sky hangs between the canyon walls, daring me to reach up and run my fingers through the starlight. It is remarkable. We pack up the trucks after our last day in the backcountry. Loaded down with equipment and canoes, we begin the long trek home. We leave the river in immaculate condition, in some places even cleaner than when we had arrived. We were good little scouts, all of us. No trace at all. Emery offers to drive first, and with Allison and Walt in the other vehicle, Vaughn and Ashley climb in behind me. I really have to pee, I hear Ashley say as I drift off to sleep in the passenger seat. Too late now, Emery tells her. You're just going to have to wait till we stop. Sometime later, I hear a voice I don't quite recognize. How long have I been asleep? I crack an eye open to see the fuzzy outline of a militant-looking Border Patrol agent standing at the driver's side window, and I pull myself up straight in my seat. If Christoph Waltz's character from Inglourious Bastards had a Latin cousin, I found him. Nothing is out of place on this man's uniform. It is spotless and polished, and he carries one leather glove that he rhythmically slaps against his open hand. His accent is thick and cocky, but he still looks like a cartoon Mexican Nazi. I need the four of you to step out of the vehicle, he says. We all comply, and then watch as Walt and Allison drive past us and on down the interstate. Certainly, Walt is telling her all about the history of the U.S. border with Mexico, while she inquires about the right to live in the deserts on the other side of the Rio Grande. The reason I have detained you is because our dog has detected, how you say, the smell of drugs in your vehicle. Now, we can do this the easy way, or we can have my people take your entire car apart and go through all the contents until we find what we are looking for. Ashley is doubled over as he speaks. Sir, I really have to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry, you will have to wait until we have sorted this out. He smacks his glove and paces in front of us, trying to determine who's responsible. His apathy to her predicament is obvious. So Ashley pees on herself. The puddle widens at her feet while she stands as stoically as a girl covered in pecan. What exactly are you doing? The agent asks. Told you I had to go, she says. But that is crazy to just, how you say, go in your pants like that. As he speaks, I sit down on the ground. I am laughing uncontrollably. He smacks his glove again as he walks over to me. Is it you? Are you on the drugs? Is that why you're laughing like that? I am dying. I gasp for air and make seal noises as I try for words. No, you, pee everywhere. Stop, I can't breathe. I cackle like a maniac as I roll over onto my back. It's mine, Vaughn says suddenly, possibly because his girlfriend is soaked in urine. They didn't know anything about it. It's a respectable move. And the truth is that none of us did know he carried his stash with him this whole time. I assumed he'd finished it long ago, and even if he hadn't, that he would have been smart enough to ditch it before we arrived at a border check station. Well, says the agent, we will have to put you in, how you say, the holding cell until we get the chef on the phone. The rest of you come with me. And we all are escorted into the station and held while they go through the car. Vaughn sits in a cell in another room while Ashley, now in fresh clothes, continues to complain. This is the problem, man. Stupid fucking laws like this. This is why I don't want to live here anymore. See? I totally agree with you, I say. This is a stupid law. But you know what else is stupid? Bringing drugs to a border patrol station. And guess what? The minute they let us go, I'm leaving him here. We sit here for 5 hours while Vaughn is taken to jail by the sheriff, and then we are released. With no cell phone service, we pull into the city of Marathon, Texas. Proud population of 470. There's only one business open, and it's a bar. Walt and Allison are inside as we walk in. Apparently, they befriended the bar owner, who has offered them dinner and arranged for them to stay at the bed and breakfast across the street. I think I might just stay here for good, says Allison. They have an organic garden in town where I can grow things, and there's a hostel where I can live. You're just going to move here after 5 hours, I ask. I think so. Where's Vaughn? Emery answers her. We can't get him out till morning, so we're just going to have to stay here until then. I, however, am not. I'm driving, Walt. Give me the keys. Shouldn't we, Walt? Shut up? Thanks, bud. It is almost midnight when I pull the trailer full of canoes from the curb. Walt is asleep in the passenger seat, drunk and snoring. And as the lone light in Marathon fades behind us, I can't help but smile a little. Aside from dropping off a gypsy girl to live in West Texas, it really is like we were never there at all. You can get your own copy of the book, Until All the Dragons Are Dead, signed at sladeham.com or wherever you get your books, including amazon.com. Grab a copy. Come see me live. Tour dates right here in front of your faces. Lots of Texas dates. The special taping November 15th. And we'll continue reading from the book as we move on into the fall. Thanks for sticking around. Go do something nice for yourself. I mean it.